the forests of Sri Lanka. The ideal hideout for secretive leopards. For one young female, finding a corner to call her own will take her further from home than she's ever roamed before. She must hone her survival skills, face her fears, and make the leap into adulthood. Deep in the forests of southeastern Sri Lanka lives a young leopard, Asha. She's nearly 2.5 years old, a mature teenager in leopard years, and has spent the last few months learning to survive on her own. But she still has a kittenish streak. Squirrels are quick and irresistible. This playfulness is more than just fun. She's honing her hunting skills. Her front-facing eyes help her judge distance, and her thick, heavy tail provides counterbalance. She needs all the practice she can get, now more than ever. Until recently, she was still allowed to share her mother's kills. But when her mother gave birth to a new litter, Asha's last thread of dependency was cut. The twin brothers are now 3 months old and demand all their mother's energy. Asha's alone. And if she's to survive and raise cubs one day, it's crucial she finds a territory of her own. Asha's home is Yala National Park, a magnificent protected wilderness. Covering nearly 1,000 square kilometers across the southeastern corner of Sri Lanka. It's a natural mosaic of habitats, teeming with life. 44 species of mammals live here, alongside 215 species of birds. The Indian Ocean laps Yala's beaches, and coastal lagoons are visited by myriad winged migrants. Inland, swathes of dense bush are punctuated by towering granite outcrops. The perfect lookout points for leopards. Among the boulders, many deep rock pools hold water throughout the year. And dozens of freshwater lakes see wave after wave of spotted deer come to drink. There's no shortage of leopard food here. Yala's thick scrub jungle is the perfect place in which to hide. Asha's rosette markings mimic the dappled patterns of light and shade in the tangled woodlands. The spotted deer have also evolved mottled coats, using the same trick as their enemy to hide in the thickets. Wild water buffalo rely on size and intimidation rather than camouflage to avoid being eaten. Standing up to 2 meters tall and weighing an average of 900 kilos, they have little to fear. This big female will spend most of the day submerged here, keeping cool. But leopards aren't the only predators in Yala. A mugger crocodile, 3 meters long, shares the same water hole. But the buffalo's far too big even for him to tackle. He's got his eye on a more manageable mouthful. The juicy plants at the water's edge are a good meal for a hungry wild boar. And a fat boar is a juicy meal for a mugger. Boar are born to dig. A strong snout, tipped with cartilage, is the perfect tool for rootling out tubers or even snails and worms from the mud. But taking your eye off the water, even for a moment, can be risky. A lucky escape, this time. This corner of Sri Lanka is arid. Monsoon rains do fall, but Yala rarely gets more than 1,000 millimeters of rainfall a year. Less than other parts of the country. As Asha strikes out into this leopard paradise, it's early July. There's been no rain for 2 months, and the park is beginning to dry out. Ideally, Asha needs a territory with a water source to attract a good supply of prey. She's not alone in this crowded Eden. There are fewer than 1,000 endangered Sri Lankan leopards remaining in the wild, one of 9 subspecies worldwide. But Yala is a stronghold for these big cats. Asha grew up in her mother's territory, 6.5 square kilometers of good hunting ground, close to a lake. She's never ventured more than 1 kilometer away from its boundaries. But, finally pushed by her mother, she's at last starting to explore further afield. It's daunting. Without rain to wash their scent marks away, Asha's surrounded by the smell of other leopards. She'll either have to fight another female to win a territory, or keep moving until she finds an unoccupied area. Finding a patch to call her own will be a challenge. On the western side of Yala, nearly 20 kilometers away from Asha, lives Marley, a male leopard. He has a home range 5 times that of any female, and it encompasses the territories of several leopardesses. He's 6 years old, in his prime. Over 75 kilos of pure brawn. more than twice what little Asha weighs. These rocks are the center of Mali's world. They rise 30 meters above the forest, giving him the perfect vantage point. Scent glands behind his whiskers leave a pungent smell packed with chemical clues about his size and fitness. A clear message to any other leopards that might pass through that this rock belongs to him. Elsewhere in the world, leopards typically live alongside larger cats, lions in Africa, tigers in India. But here in Sri Lanka, leopards hold the top spot. Isolated on an island and with no competition, they've grown bigger than any other leopards worldwide. They can be heavier than their African cousins. Mali is a true apex predator. But there is one animal here that outguns him. Hamu. He rules the territory next door. At 100 kilos, he's one of the biggest leopards in Yala, which makes him one of the biggest leopards in the world. He's 12 years old now, a veteran warrior who's lived through many battles, some of them with Mali. These males are no threat for Asha, but if her search for a territory brings her through either of their kingdoms, one of them could become a potential mate. Mali, like all leopards, is a creature of the night. He spent much of his day resting on his favorite lookout point, but now he's got work to do. Patrolling his 38 square kilometer territory will take him till dawn. His night vision is 7 times better than a human's, thanks to reflective membranes in the back of his eyes, which bounce light back through his retinas. His hearing, too, is 5 times more acute than ours. Little escapes his notice. Living in leopard country can be dangerous. A sounder of wild boars knows only too well that night is when Yala's big cats are most active. They've deliberately settled down for the night out in the open, much harder for a leopard to sneak up on them. But when you share a dormitory, a restless sow waking up disturbs everybody. The piglets take the opportunity to have a late-night drink. They stay inside the huddle, away from hungry eyes. A few kilometers away, Asha's having no luck either. She's hunting in unfamiliar terrain. A slight rustling betrays movement in the undergrowth. As she goes to investigate, her body warmth leaves a perfect heat signature on the cool ground. Porcupines. She's dined on these big rodents before when her mother was in charge of hunting. But Asha's wisely wary of taking on this prickly pair. 30-centimeter quills cover their bodies, an almost impervious suit of armor. Asha's instincts tell her that lying in wait for an ambush is her strongest strategy. The theory's sound, but if she's going to eat tonight, she'll need to take the next step and actually pounce on something. A wild boar is an appetizing prospect. His eyesight is weak. He's got no idea Asha's within striking distance. But it's a huge male, 60 kilos to Asha's 30. Spotted. And now she's lost the element of surprise. She's in for a lean night. Asha's still hungry after her unsuccessful night. A drink will fill her empty stomach. She's on edge, but it's not just her night in a strange place that's making her jumpy. There's something else making her nervous. Sucking in air, she tastes it with a patch of sensory cells on the roof of her mouth, known as the Jacobson's organ. The information gleaned tells her she's not the only leopard to have drunk at this pool recently. She's trespassing on another leopardess's territory. The local flock of peacocks is on edge too. Once they see an enemy, their strategy is to keep it in sight. They won't leave Asha in peace until she moves on. she's slowly heading west, traveling in the direction of Marley's rocks. Beyond the outcrop, Marley has also had a shaky night. His flicking tail is a clear sign of his discomfort. And one look at his neck reveals the reason. A run-in with Hamu, the bigger male, has left him with a nasty injury. His instinct is to lick his wound. Proteins in his saliva would help it heal, but it's a tricky place to reach. He retreats to the densest part of his territory to rest. The wild boar piglets at least are full of energy, despite their disturbed night. They're about a month old and the combined offspring of several females in the group. A little gang of cousins. Their stripy coats camouflage them in the undergrowth, an adaptation to help protect them while they're at their most vulnerable. The stripes will fade as they age and be gone completely by the time they're a year old. By then, they'll have tripled in size and be much more able to protect themselves against a leopard attack. Asha's now 8 kilometers from the edge of her mother's territory. It's further than she's ever ventured before, but she has no choice if she's to establish a territory of her own. Suddenly, she spots something. It's a young male leopard, about 6 months old. From her hiding place, Asha watches him unseen. He's older than her twin brothers and no relative. The cub is too young to be independent. He'll rely on his mother for at least another 9 months. And his belly is full. His mother must have made a kill in the night. Hungry Asha can smell its remains nearby, which means the cub's mother can't be far away. Female leopards are ferociously defensive of their young. If Asha comes face to face with the mother, she'll be in grave danger. The cub's thirsty after a big meal. But there's more than water in this rock pool. Thick weed provides the perfect cover for a cunning crocodile. A naive little leopard would be a very acceptable meal. Luckily, the curious cub can't sit still for long. And neither can Asha. Once again, she's on another female's turf. She's not ready to fight for this territory, so her search for a place to call home must go on. July rolls into August, the dry season really takes hold. Waterholes shrink and some disappear altogether. This is the toughest time of year for many animals here. Elephants struggle to find enough food. Each needs to eat over 130 kilos of vegetation every day. And right now, there's just not enough to go around. But for predators, it can be a very different story. Weakening herbivores stay close to the remaining waterholes, making them easier for a leopard to hunt. Asha still hasn't settled, and every day brings her a little closer to Marley's domain. His rocks are now just 10 kilometers away. She's on the edge of his empire. Despite her long search, she's in excellent condition. She's hunting well, learning to make the most of any opportunity that comes her way. And a spotted deer away from the herd is just such a chance. The doe's wide-set eyes give her a field of view of 300 degrees. Her ears are ideally shaped to gather sounds and pinpoint their origin. Like a satellite dish receiving radio waves. Constantly twitching, they scan for suspicious sounds from every direction. Asha's become stealthy, patient, focused. Soft paw pads allow her to move in almost complete silence. But the bush telegraph is on to her. There's a whole network of spies and informers ready to blow the whistle on a predator with nefarious intent. Her hunt is over. But this time, Asha might have gained more than she's lost. Following the doe has led her to a waterhole she's never seen before. There are telltale smells of another female leopard, but they're very faint. It's been a while since she scent marked here. Asha's been searching for a month. As the crow flies, she's only 11 kilometers from her mother's patch. But it's been the most important journey of her life. And now she's found an unoccupied territory at last. Three kilometers away, Molly is having a tougher time. His injury has healed, but he seems to have lost some of his chutzpah. His swag has been replaced by a much more cautious demeanor. Wild boar make excellent meals for hungry leopards. But Molly is wary nonetheless. The sounder catches a whiff of him. But a big male isn't so easily put off. Armed with tusks, the boar's got no qualms about taking on a clawed carnivore. Mari's not looking for a fight and backs away from this confrontation. The last thing he needs is another injury. In extreme cases, boars have even been known to kill leopards. Yala can be a dangerous place, even for the apex predators. Asha's newfound territory by the waterhole seems too good to be true. Its previous owner perhaps recently died, and Asha's had the good fortune to stumble upon it before anyone else has moved in. She wastes no time staking her own claim. Even the peacocks can't put her off this time. Chemicals in her urine leave a distinct scent, proclaiming this area as hers and warning other female leopards to stay away. She's not just advertising her status as a landowner. Pheromones also reveal that for the first time, she's in estrus. She's ready to mate. And Molly has caught her scent. The whiff of a female in heat puts a spring back in his step. The spotted deer are ever vigilant, but hunting is the last thing on Molly's mind right now. At last, the trail he's been following leads him to his goal. He's found Asha. she approaches cautiously. It's the first time she's come face to face with another adult leopard since she left her mother. She's not entirely sure what to do. Marley makes the first move. Ever since she was born, Asha's been wary of big males. They're known to kill cubs. But she's no longer a cub. And this male isn't frightening, he's fascinating. He nonchalantly wanders off. Asha's instincts tell her to follow. Marley plays it cool, but he knows he's got her attention. The mating game begins. Asha's hormones might signal she's ready to mate, but she's young and inexperienced, and her nerve falters. In the reassuring branches of a tree, she plays hard to get. Marley senses her nervousness and settles in to wait. Yala's nocturnal animals emerge. For a pair of rats, love is clearly in the air. And under cover of darkness, Asha's self-assurance returns. Her call is a signal to Marley that her mind is made up. His patience has paid off. The pair moves deep into the undergrowth. Asha instinctively knows how to behave. Circling coquettishly, she tells Marley she's ready. It's Asha's first mating, and it'll be a test of her stamina. They copulate every few minutes all through the night, with a few cat naps to keep their strength up. There's only one thing that might put a stop to their courtship. Hamu. Asha's new territory is on the border between Marley's and Hamu's kingdoms. Hamu is out patrolling his boundary and heading their way. If Hamu picks up on Asha's scent trail, Marley could be in real danger. But Hamu's got company of his own. Asha's scent trail, Marley, could be in real danger. But Hamu's got company of his own. Asha's not the only leopardess in heat, and the bigger male has his own romantic assignation tonight. The next morning, Marley and Asha are still together. They'll stay close for 4 or 5 days, mating up to 100 times a day. It could be months before the timing is right for either of them to mate again, so this marathon increases the odds of them producing a cub. By the end of September, Yala's dry season draws to an end. Clouds build over the forest. The first of the monsoon rains aren't far off. Everything in Yala is growing up. The wild boar piglets are looking less like they're wearing stripy sweaters and more like miniature versions of their parents. And Asha is a very different leopard to the playful cat that left in search of her own territory 3 months ago. She's fending for herself and is the owner of a waterside residence in Sri Lanka's leopard paradise. Her pungent scent pervades the air. It reeks of self-confidence and strength. A warning to all who enter here that this territory is taken. And the biggest change of all, she's pregnant. In just over a month's time, she'll be the mother of a litter of her own. She's well on her way to becoming the Queen of Yala.